Listening to Points Talk with the Travel Mom Squad, previously known as the Travel Hacking Mom Show. Follow the links in the show notes to stay up to date with what the Travel Mom Squad has been up to. Want to hear what we've been up to lately? Cards we've opened and trips we've been booking? Listen in as we recap what the THM team has been up to. Welcome to the Travel Hacking Mom Show. We are three moms who've discovered how to leverage credit card welcome offers to get hundreds of thousands of dollars in travel expenses for nearly free. We've used credit card points and miles to take vacations to places like Hawaii, Paris, Greece, the Maldives, Italy, and so much more. And the best part? We each still have an 800 plus credit score. Imagine being able to book a vacation without having to check your bank account. It's totally possible, and we're here to show you how. Hey, I'm Alex.
And I'm Pam, Alex's mom.
And I'm Jess. We are travel hacking moms. Today, we thought it would be fun to chat about what we've been up to recently, including the most recent trip we've taken, the trip that we're looking forward to booking, any recent trips we have booked. Spoiler alert, we all booked one today. We're going to get into that a little bit later on in the episode. Cards we've opened recently, cards we're thinking about opening. So we got it all inside this episode. It is going to be a fun one. All right, we're going to kick it off with our most recent trip that we have taken on Points and Miles. We're going to share how we booked it. So Pam, why don't you kick it off?
Okay, I got back not that long ago from Costa Rica, went to the Guanacaste area, and I stayed at two hotels. Hotel hopping once again. I stayed at the Ondas Hyatt, the Ondas Papagayos Hyatt. Has great reviews. Jess has talked it up. I've talked to so many people that like it, and I just thought, can this live up to the hype? Let me tell you, it did in spades. This was the greatest hotel. We hardly saw anybody there while we were there. It was a perfect location. The rooms are huge. We got an upgrade. They treat globalists amazing. I think they treat everybody amazing. Their service was impeccable. It was my friend's birthday while we were there. They gave her a cake. They offered to pay for our dinner. They were just amazing. I am going there again.
So just to recap and make sure I understand this right. So you liked it. You liked that hotel.
I loved it. If they're going to Costa Rica, it's a no-brainer. If you want to be treated well, so much to do. It was really, really nice.
I was laughing out loud though when you said it was the greatest hotel. I'm like, that is quite the compliment, Mom.
Well, I say that about a lot of hotels.
I know that's not a lot, but you loved it.
I did. I loved it. And in fact, I will absolutely try to book it next year too. I believe that I paid $21K a night for it. I think I did it before the prices have gone up. I'm not sure if that's still the price. I flew to Costa Rica on American Airlines. I used points for that. And I did hotel hop, and I went to the Secrets in Costa Rica also. And it was okay. I'm not going to say it was a great hotel. It was a good hotel, and especially for someone who's looking for all-inclusive hotels. And we do cover this on our podcast all about secret all-inclusive resorts. So if you want to hear more about that, you can do that. But Costa Rica is such a great place to use points and miles. It's just the people are lovely. It is pura vida for sure. Everybody treats you so good. They're so happy to see you. And it is just a wonderful place to use points and miles. This is my third trip to Costa Rica. One was before I got into points and miles. My other trip, I went down to the San Juan area and used points and miles. This was probably my favorite redemption, my favorite place to go.
You mean in Costa Rica or anywhere?
No, Costa Rica.
Okay.
Well,
Your favorite route of redemption.
I was like, but in Costa Rica, it was great. It's okay. Really, it lives up to the hype, including the hype that Pam's giving it right now.
Yeah. Oh, and I just want to verify that is the price currently for the Ondas Papagayo. You booked it for 21,000 points a night off peak. So standard pricing is 25,000 points a night.
Thank you for checking that up.
No problem. Okay, Jess, what about you?
Okay, so this is going to be like my almost most recent, because my most recent Alex is going to cover next because we were together. But my almost most recent was,
Like 2 days before the trip I'm going to cover.
yeah,
So very, very recent.
my 2023 is kind of crazy. I went to the Waldorf Astoria Los Cabos Pedregal. We've talked about that one before because I think we all agree that we wanted to use our Hilton points or free night certificates there. And it is a fantastic use of Hilton free night certificates. The standard award nights there go for 120,000 points a night. Yikes, that's a lot. But the great thing about Hilton free night certificates is that there is no cap. And so you can use them at any Hilton or almost any Hilton worldwide. Fantastic value at the Waldorf. Beautiful resort. The service was amazing. The food was amazing. Everything was great. And so great value for those free night certificates there. I used United miles for flights. It is hurricane season, which means getting to Mexico is very cheap. I think it was like 12,000 miles each way on United from Houston. And then, like I said, 2 free night certificates and 120,000 points for 3 nights there. And I loved it. Would totally go back. What about you, Alex? Where have you been recently?
Yeah, you probably have no idea. Jess and I just got back yesterday from the Hyatt Regency Lost Pines. It's about 30 minutes outside of Austin, Texas. So me and my family of 6, we flew Southwest Airlines, took advantage of our companion passes. So paid for 4 flights, 6 of us flew. We paid 21,000 points a night to stay at the Hyatt Regency Lost Pines. That is off-peak price. So 63,000 points for our 3-night stay, which I feel like it was a very good use of points. This resort is so fun. There are so many things to do. We didn't even do all of the things we wanted to do because there are so many activities. So we're going to cover this resort in full in a later episode. So I'm not going to give too many details, but we loved it. My kids loved it. My husband was like, I can't believe how many things they have here that you can do. And there are so many kids. I think it's perfect place for elementary aged. If you have elementary aged kids, it is so fun. There's so many kids. They will meet friends there. They have kids clubs. They have a park. They have swimming pool with a lazy river. They have golfing and bikes, pickleball. I mean, just so many things. So stay tuned for a future episode about that, but I highly recommend it. And I went in with like kind of high expectations of hoping it would be a really fun, kind of different trip than we usually take. We tend to go to Hawaii, or we do the beach scene a lot. So this was not the beach scene. This was the country, and we loved it. So that was ours. And we were lucky to have Jess and her family come drive up from Houston and meet us. So that was super fun. Okay, next up, let's talk about our next trip that we are taking next. So how we booked it, points, used, costs. So Mom, why don't you go first?
Okay. As you guys know, last year, Hyatt changed their award chart and everything started costing a little bit more. Well, all of us, when that happened, decided that we were going to book some trips while they were at the old price. And so some of those trips are coming up now.
Well, it was just a few property. Well,
Right.
kind of a lot of properties changed. A lot of really good ones. So it wasn't like the whole award chart took all these changes, but some select properties did. And we were like my mom was saying, we all said we need to book some of these before it gets a little crazy.
Right. And it's so funny because I was just talking to someone today about how we book ahead and you think, wow, are we ever going to get to that? And I thought about that. I'm going, oh my goodness, I'm going on these trips now. These are the ones that I booked when the prices went up. So my next trip is to a place that Alex and Jess went that they loved. I think it's one of your favorite resorts. It's the Secrets, which is all inclusive, the Secrets Moshe. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yeah.
Okay. They have talked about it and the food was amazing. I have all the list of all the best places to go to. I am so excited about this. My husband and I are going. He doesn't travel as much as I do, but I think he's going to love this. So we're doing that, I think, for just a couple nights before we go on a trip that Alex is going to talk about in a little bit too. I did pay $21K a night for that. That was before the prices went up. I'm not sure what it is now. Do you guys know?
Off peak, it's like 46,000, I think, and then
It might be 42.
42. I know standard is
I think
50.
it's 42. It's
I know
42.
standard is 50K a night. So
But we still think it's worth it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go during peak. I wouldn't go during peaks.
no. But you're doing the impression, right? You're not doing just the regular Secrets yet.
Yes. Yeah.
So impression is 42
Yeah.
off peak, 50 standard.
Yeah. So I'm doing that, and after that, I'm meeting Alex and her family at the Hyatt Ziva, and another one of my daughters and her family. And for that other daughter, Alex and I did guest of honor bookings for her. So she needed 2 rooms for her family. So I did one guest of honor booking, and Alex did another. And that is just such a great way to share globalist status with someone. And so that's kind of exciting. She's excited about it, and we're so excited to share that time with her. So, Jess, where's your next trip?
I am leaving on Friday this week.
What?
Yes. I am just not home anymore. Apparently, I live in hotels now, or on airplanes. So I am headed to Istanbul this Friday. I'm flying on Turkish Airlines direct from Houston for 45,000 miles in business class, which is the steal of the century. So I booked this trip a long time ago, and it is finally here. I'm going with some girlfriends. We are staying at the Park Hyatt Istanbul using Hyatt points. And then this is kind of random. Then we're going to London, and you don't normally think of like Istanbul and London in the same trip. But Pam, I don't know if you remember this, but in December when we were at the Andaz Mayakoba, you found award availability on United Polaris from London for 60,000 miles. And so I texted my friends because we had booked Istanbul, but we weren't sure where we were going next or how we were getting home. And I said, why don't we go to London and then we can fly home in Polaris business class for 60,000 United miles. And so we all jumped on it. And so we're just taking a cheap flight on Turkish Airlines from Istanbul to London. And then we're going to stay a couple of nights at the Kimpton in London. Pam, have you stayed at the Kimpton yet?
I haven't stayed there, but that was a real contender last time I was in London. So I can't wait to hear about it.
So we're going to do some nights at the Kimpton using IHG points. And then we are flying back in business class United Polaris for just 60,000 United miles, which is also a fantastic deal. All right, Alex, where are you headed next?
Well, my mom kind of did a little spoiler. We're headed to Cancun. So, like she said, we're going. So my parents, my sister and her family, and then my family, my kids. They are so excited to go on a trip with their cousins. This is like a dream come true for them. So super fun between the 3 of us. So my parents, my sister's family, my family, we booked 5 rooms on points. So kind of a lot. There'll be a lot of us, but it's going to be so fun. We booked this before. So we're in the Hyatt Ziva Cancun. We've been there before and we loved it. So fun with the family. And when I saw that they were increasing their price with some of those Hyatt changes last year, I thought, oh my goodness, like it's going to be so many more points now to go to Hyatt Ziva. I need to go one more time before they increase it. So we booked it off peak for 21,000 points a night. Now off peak, it's maybe 40,000 a night, I think. And then peak is 45, but don't quote me on that.
I think that's
I
right.
think you can get it for 35.
I don't know if you can. Someone will check while I was talking. We'll come back later. So we booked 2 rooms, so we're paying $42,000 a night for 2 rooms. But how it works with the all-inclusive is the points per night covers 2 people. So booking 2 rooms covers 4 of us, but there's 6 of us going in my family. So I'm paying cash for my 2 youngest kids. I believe it was like around 110 or 120. I forget. I've messaged Hyatt to ask them. I have it written down somewhere. But I'll have to pay that additionally each night per kid. So in the future, like if we decide we want to come back with the hotel costing more points now, I would just book 1 night with points and then 1 night in cash and just look at it as I'm saving a lot of money on this trip, but I'm not getting it for almost nearly free. It will just be like, I'm getting an all-inclusive amazing trip with my family for a discount. So that's kind of what I'm thinking.
So Pam is correct. 35,000 points off peak, 40,000 standard.
That is great news.
Oh my goodness. Pam's grinning from ear to ear that she's right.
So that is coming up. We're super excited. Once again, we're flying Southwest. There's not a direct flight from Salt Lake, so we're actually connecting in Denver. And yeah, it'll be great. So bought 4 tickets and 6 of us are flying. So pretty excited. Okay. Most recent trip booked. So like Jess teased at the beginning of the episode, we all booked a trip today, which will cover. We were not planning on booking a trip today. We woke up this morning. There was a deal. I texted it to them, meaning, hey, we should let people know about this deal. So Jess posted it in stories. My mom wrote a blog post. And then a little bit later, Jess texts us and says, hey, maybe we should go here. So we'll cover that more in a minute, but we actually already had in our notes our other trip that we were planning on sharing today before we booked a trip. So, Mom, tell us about the trip you most recently booked prior to today. And you really recently booked this.
Yes, I booked it probably 3 days ago.
So you've been busy.
So I have a daughter that is in Greece right now, and I'm babysitting her 4 kids that are at home. And I was talking to her, and we were talking about how much she loves it there and what a great time that she's having, and that she, paid the 45,000 miles for business class on Turkish, like Jess is talking about going to Istanbul. She did that. And my head started spinning, and I'm thinking, I wonder if I can find that 45K in Turkish to Italy, because my sister and I didn't get to complete our trip this year. We didn't get to go to Cinque Terre. We want to do that. And she's always wanted to go to Rome. And then there's another story that I'll tell you in a minute of what also influenced that. So I looked it up, and I usually look, those flights are pretty easy to find from Chicago. That's where I usually find most of mine. So I could find from Chicago to Rome. I could find business class seats on Turkish for 45K. So that set it all in motion. So then I thought, okay, so we can get to Rome, but we want to go to Cinque Terre, and from Cinque Terre, that will be our last stop. We need to get back to Milan. So I did the same thing, looking from Milan to Chicago, and it all worked out. So I booked that flight a few days ago for us. In the meantime, just before that, I had actually booked a hotel first, because all of a sudden the Grand Hotel Victoria Concept and Spa in Lake Como opened up, one of my favorite hotels. And I'd love to go back to Lake Como. My sister and I both went to this hotel. So I booked that without even planning the 2 bookends of this trip or thinking about this Turkish flight. So that was booked. So I was just really fortunate that the flights worked out. We're going into Rome for a couple of days, going into Lake Como for 3 nights, and then going over to Cinque Terre for 3 nights. Really worked out amazing. And all I can say There is a reason you want a stockpile of points. If you open up cards and get more sign-up bonuses, maybe you don't have a plan for them, but when something like this happens, when the stars align and you can book something that you want to anyway, it is so nice to have that stockpile. And what I used to book those flights was I used Capital One Venture Miles, transferred them to Turkish Airlines, and that's how we did that.
You said everything worked out perfectly, and it almost did. But you know what went wrong?
What?
I texted my mom literally like 30 minutes to an hour after she said, I booked Grand Hotel Victoria to me and Jess. And I said, hey, if you don't have someone going with you, I'd love to go with you. And she said, oh, I already asked my sister. I'm like, she's already been to this hotel with you.
I know. But you know what? When I think I mentioned it and I was hoping you'd say something about it and you did it right away. So I thought, well, I guess she isn't interested. So I asked Julie, you have to work fast with Pam. Really
You know how Pam is. You know how Pam is. And like, if she says something, if you're interested, you got to be like, I'm in, Pam, or she's moving on to her next person.
Well, I didn't even ask Alex. I just assumed she would.
She just assumed. She's like, if she wants to go, she's got to let me know in the next 10 minutes.
Do let me know right away. So
I know. I must have just been busy.
So
I mean, I had an hour. I should have jumped on it sooner.
So Jess, what was the most recent trip that you booked?
So as we know, I'm going on like the whole Taylor Swift following her around Europe escapades thing. So I booked a trip for my mom and I to go to London next summer to see her. I finalized everything. I've had this trip planned in my head for a very long time, but I actually did the booking fairly recently. So we are going to be flying Houston to Manchester on Singapore Airlines. I think this is going to be my mom's first time in business class ever. And so very excited about that. That's our go-to way of getting to the UK. So yeah, Houston to Manchester on Singapore Airlines, 81,000 miles each and $5.60. So really can't beat that for a direct flight to the UK. And then we are going to stay 5 nights at the Hyatt Regency Churchill because Pam influenced me and she has stayed there twice now and loves it. And so
I do love it.
I was like, I got to try it out. I got to bring my mom. So $0 for our stay there because I'm using Hyatt points. And then coming home, we are flying from London to Houston nonstop on British Airways Premium Economy. That's a daytime flight. So it was 47,500 avios each, which is, I think, a pretty good deal for premium economy flight nonstop. So that is our plan. And ironically, we even, factoring in all the taxes and fees on those flights, we are going to be spending less money to see Taylor Swift in a suite in London than we would pay StubHub resale to see her in the nosebleeds of a concert in the United States.
So creepy.
That is insane.
Yeah. All right, Alex, what's the most recent trip that you booked? I think I had a little bit of a hand in this one.
Yeah, you did. Well, first of all, you didn't have a hand in this one. The less exciting, I guess, of the two is I booked a hotel stay today in St. George, Utah for a soccer tournament for early next year. So that was nice to just have planned and figured out.
How much do you save on that, Alex, when all the other parents
are paying? Here's the thing. A lot of the parents aren't staying. I mean, I'm staying at standard hotels like Hyatt Place, Residence Inn, Spring Hill Suites, like hotels like that. But like the one I was looking at today, because it's a busy, popular weekend, the prices are inflated. So it was like $360 cash price for one night.
That is crazy to pay to go watch your kid.
It's really crazy.
Play sport. There's no other reason to travel hack than to be able to
100%.
do that. I would do it.
And so I know like some families, they'll do a VRBO or Airbnb when they go down there. So it's a little bit cheaper. But so I booked those hotels. I actually used some free night certificates and saving a lot of money. And then the one Jess had a hand in was when we were in Cancun or in Playa del Carmen at the Impression Moschee. We were up by the pool and I had been racking my brain on what to do for spring break for a while. I was like, Jess, just tell me where to go. What should my family do? And she's like, you guys should go to the Park Hyatt Aviara in Carlsbad, like by San Diego. So I remembered when we actually recorded an episode about Southern California and just talked about this hotel. And my mom and I both said, oh, we want to go and stay there sometime. So I texted my mom and I said, do you want to come with us for spring break and go to the Park Hyatt Aviara? And so we booked it. So we're used Hyatt points for that, obviously, and then Southwest flights once again. We fly Southwest all the time, and my kids have been complaining about it this week. They're like, can we fly a different airline? And I said, if we're flying in the United States, Hawaii, Mexico, we're flying Southwest, guys. Your options are fly Southwest or stay home. So get used to it. But I'm realizing now as I'm going over the things we just did and all the trips we have planned, everything's Southwest for us for flights. So yeah.
Can't beat that
You
companion
really
pass when you
can't.
got
I mean,
kids.
especially we have a family of 6 and to get 2 flights for free, it'd be nonsense to not fly Southwest when we have the companion pass. So, and it's
Absolutely.
nice too. Like when we go to California, it's a direct flight. So it's pretty easy for us. But the spring break trip might have to get shuffled or just moved by a few days because of the trip we booked today. So the 3 of us booked a trip together. Jess, as the orchestrator of this trip, do you want to spill the beans?
Sure. So this is, I haven't booked that London trip to see Taylor is the most recent trip I booked. That was like a few weeks ago. So I was just
A few
jonesing
weeks
to,
ago. But you'd
I
had
was
it
just
planned to
jonesing.
book for like months.
Right. I
It
just
was
had to
less
wait
exciting
till,
because you're like, I already know I'm going there. I just got to
right.
do the logistics now.
Right. So I was jonesing for, a new exciting booking. But yeah, like Alex said, I don't think any of us woke up this morning thinking that we were going to book a trip to Asia today, but that is just how it turned out. So Alex texted us this morning because by the time this episode airs, unfortunately, it will have ended, but there's a really great Singapore Airlines promotion going on right now where they're having 25% off certain economy and premium economy award flights. And so one of those is, premium economy award flights to and from the US to Singapore. I have never been to Singapore, but have always wanted to go. And so after I got done sharing it in stories, I was thinking, man, I wouldn't, obviously I'd prefer to fly business class, but premium economy isn't too bad. And Singapore Airlines, even just regular economy on Singapore Airlines is really nice. So I was thinking I could totally do premium economy for 56,000 miles one way. That's a steal from direct San Francisco to Singapore. So I texted Alex and Pam and I was like, I really want to go to Singapore. We should all go together. And we somehow miraculously, Pam and I had a window of time where neither of us had a trip booked already in, March of 2024. So we are making it happen. We are going to go to Singapore. Pam is going to fly in premium economy with us on the way there. How do you
Ooh.
feel about that, Pam?
I'm a little nervous, but I will tell you that I did go for the more expensive seats coming back because I feel like these 2 young girls are going to kick my butt on our trip, and I am going to need to get some good sleep coming back. So I'm flying business class back. There was only 1 seat available, and Alex was kind enough to let her old mom have it. And so they're flying premium economy back.
But yeah, that's exciting. That's something to look forward to. Some Asia content coming from Travel Hacking Mom. We're going to do Singapore and Kuala Lumpur. We are obviously staying at Hyatt's in both of those places. And I've never flown Singapore premium economy. So I'm excited to go to Asia. I'm excited to review that flight and the hotels and pretty much everything.
What chance did you think that either of us was gonna go say yes when you brought that up today?
I mean, I would put my money on Pam saying yes because she has FOMO. But Alex, I was it's harder for Alex to leave because she has 4 young kids, and so, but, I
I
was like,
made it happen.
"Please." Yeah, I was like, "This would be so great. This would be
Or
so."
Mitch
Yeah,
made it
Mitch made it happen.
happen.
Yeah.
She's got the best husband. He's so
I just
supportive.
called him. I said, "How would you feel about me going to Singapore in March?" And he said, "Go for it. Have fun." I said, "Okay, thanks."
It was funny though because she was like, "Oh, wait, let me ask Mitch," and then I was like, "Oh, I guess I should ask my husband."
I told my husband this afternoon.
I did. He worked from home today, and so I was like, "Hey, do you mind if I go here in March?" And he was like, "I don't even know what I'm doing next week. Just put it on the calendar. It's fine." So, we're all very, very lucky to
Yep,
be
we
married
are
to
very
people
lucky.
that we are married to
Yeah.
who
They are very supportive.
yes. So, yeah, so woke up regular Monday morning, and now we all have a trip booked to Singapore.
Yep, and
Again, the great blessing of having a stockpile of points. Never could do something like this if we were just, opening up 1 or 2 cards a year.
Right.
yep, and now as soon as we're done recording, I still need to book my flight from Singapore to Kuala Lumpur. So, that's on my to-do list. So, as soon as we're done, I'm gonna have booked another thing.
I already have our itinerary filled out in my Google Sheet.
Monica Geller
and
is on it.
And she's gonna plan all the activities too, and I love this because 'cause I'm always the planner of everything with everybody I travel, so I love to travel with other Monica Gellers.
Well, that's what I was thinking as I was telling my friend today. I was telling her about this trip that we booked, and I said, it's just so nice because I don't know when I would go. And I'm going with my mom and Jess, and they are both type 1 planners, get things done, and it'll be the easiest trip I ever go on because I don't have to be in charge.
I mean, it was like bang, bang, bang. It went from like, "Hey, would y'all be interested in this?" to like within a matter of hours having all of our flights, all of our hotels, everything done. So,
including free night upgrades.
yeah.
Sweet
So
upgrade.
Or sweet night upgrades.
yeah.
Once in a while, I get mixed up.
Yeah, so this was like an all-time record, I think, for like from idea to actually executing it, but that's my favorite kind of thing, so
And when the
all
need
right, so
comes along, you kinda have to move quick.
yeah, you gotta jump on it. All right, so now we're gonna talk about what other trips are on our radar. So Pam, what's on your radar? Like, what are you thinking might be next?
Well, I'm gonna give you 4 because I wanna go to Austria only because I really wanna stay at the Park Hyatt Vienna because that's supposed to be one of the best Park Hyatts, the most beautiful, and I've got to see that for myself. I wanna go to the Azores. I don't know if it's Azores or Azores, but islands are in, near Portugal. I wanna go to there. I think they're the Hawaii of, Europe. We helped someone in a coaching call book a trip. It was to a trip to Sardinia, and I started looking at the pictures there, started looking at the hotels we were showing her, and I thought, "Oh my goodness, I'm gonna go to Sardinia." And that wasn't on my radar before, and then we didn't make a trip to Morocco because of COVID, and that's still on my list. So those are probably my 4 main ones that I wanna try to book for sometime next year, along with all the others that I have already booked for next year.
What about you, Jess?
I was actually talking about this with Alex over the weekend, but I think I am leaning towards booking Iceland for next fall. That's like one of my husband's top destinations. And I feel like we're always going where I want to go. So we need to go where he wants to go. But also, I really, really, really want to see the Northern Lights. That's one of my bucket lists. And so my daughter has a random week off every fall. So I'm leaning towards a little family trip to Iceland. I am in the very, very, very early stages of even beginning to think about this. So I don't have a ton planned or anything. It's still just a concept, but that's sort of what I'm leaning for her fall break next year. And I talked about it with Alex while we were at the Lost Pines, and she was like, "You need to go to Iceland. We need you to go to Iceland." So I
We
was
need
like,
the
"Okay,
content.
try and make it happen. Do it for the team."
Yep.
All right, but what about you, Alex? What are you thinking?
Okay, well, none of these things are in a planning stage. They're just things that are on my radar. Thailand is one of those. We've talked as a family with the adults. So my siblings, my parents, of going on an adults trip to Thailand. So hopefully we can make that happen. I would also like to see more of the United States with my kids. We tend to do a lot of the Western United States since we live in Salt Lake City, and do a lot of California. We've been to Hawaii a bunch. And, if you would ask me yesterday, I probably would have said, I probably going to plan another trip to Hawaii, which I'm not saying I'm not going to do that, because I very well could end up doing that. But I also want to go and see more national parks. I want to go back east and see some historical sites. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, is to kind of do more of that scene and skip the beach, maybe. We'll see. It's kind of hard one for me, though. I love being warm and relaxing. Okay, so next up, let's talk about credit cards. Let's go over the last card you opened and why you opened it. So, Mom, what about you?
The last card I opened was for your dad. I opened up the Capital One business card for him. It's not for everybody. It has a huge minimum spend of $30K. So it's a lot, but I had estimated taxes I needed to spend. That took a huge chunk of that. And then I've been doing, with the October Prime deals, I did a lot of buying groups. I usually don't do a ton of buying groups, but because I had this minimum spend to do, I did more than I usually did. And I'm really close to meeting that now. So it was actually quite doable for us. If you can time a big minimum spend with things like, taxes, or doing some buying groups or holidays or something, it works out. My plan for those points is Turkish miles. I am after more of those 45K business class seats to Europe. So that is my major plan for them, because I kind of wiped out most of my Capital One Venture miles, and I need some more. What about you, Jess?
I just opened the AMEX Business Gold last week. Have not even received it in the mail yet. It was kind of a spontaneous thing. I was not really planning to open that one. There have been some changes to that card, and one of those is that the annual fee is going up in February. I have never had that card before, but I knew I wanted to get it because it's a great way to earn some membership rewards points. It doesn't count towards 524. So I had kind of decided, okay, I definitely want to get it before February. But then I saw an article about how some people were able to get a 150,000 point offer for that card by opening a certain link in a private browser. And so I was able to pull that 150K offer, and that is an amazing offer for the business gold. So I went ahead and applied. I was not sure if I would even get approved because I've been sort of in and out of Amex pop-up jail, but I got automatically approved. So hopefully that means I'm out of pop-up jail now. But yeah, I do not know. I don't actually have plans for those points yet. Amex is one of those that I kind of just stockpile and save for a rainy day or like random trips to Singapore that we book one day. But Singapore Airlines and Emirates are probably two of my go-to Amex transfer partners. So I'm assuming I'm going to use the points for one of those airlines. What about you, Alex?
Well, speaking of Amex pop-up jail, I applied for my husband to get the personal gold card. Has a 90K offer. The plan was to just have it and keep it forever so that can be one of his go-to cards so I can keep him out of pop-up jail. Well, he didn't. He got the pop-up. So I was really hoping he was out since he had been approved for the Hilton business card recently. So I don't know if it's just Amex isn't wanting to give him membership rewards right now, or if it's increased offers on membership rewards. I have no idea. So my plan is to just try maybe every 6 months or so to get him the Amex Gold. And one of these days, they eventually have to give it to him. So until then, I'm like, it's annoying. But yeah, that was the one I tried to get, didn't get. And so the last one that I actually got, and Jess was there when I applied for it. We were sitting there at the pool at the Lost Pines, Hyatt Regency Lost Pines, and I showed her. I was like, "Oh no, he's still in pop up." So I still got to get a card for him. But the last one that I opened was the Venture X business card that my mom already talked about, and yeah, big minimum spend. But estimated taxes, buying groups, we have a lot of regular spend lately. My husband's the soccer coach for both my boys' teams, so I'm paying for a couple tournaments, paying for indoor and futsal for the winter season. So a lot of things kind of came up that were able to help us meet. Well, we haven't met it yet, but go towards that minimum spend.
You forgot the other broken arm in your family?
Oh, yeah. My littlest one broke his arm.
So
Man.
we got some medical
Got
expenses
some
thrown in
medical
there, I assume.
expenses coming up. Thankfully, this one, if for anyone that didn't know, my 7-year-old, well, he was 6 at the time, last fall broke his arm, fell off a trampoline and broke both bones literally in half. It was terrible. He had to have surgery to get rods in, and then he had to have surgery to get rods out. And so it was very expensive. Thankfully, my little 3-year-old just broke his bone the old-fashioned way where all we have to do is get a cast put on and a cast put off. So thankfully, it's not quite as expensive as the last one. And yeah, but yes, it will add another little extra expense we'll have to make for those doctor visits. So moving on to cards on our radar, what do each of you plan to open next?
Well, if I could, I would open up another Chase business card. But Chase hates me for some reason. I don't even get into review. I've called and I've reconsideration and talked to them. I've been on the line for an hour going through numbers and all kinds of stuff. And then they put it through again and say they still refuse me. So I thought that maybe it could be because I've got a lot of cards with them and maybe I'm at the max credit that they will give me right now. So this week I did take 3 of my cards and reduced my credit on them. I hope that doesn't hurt anything. But I thought they need some more ultimate rewards. And I'm so frustrated that they're not approving me for them. So that's not probably going to happen with me for a while.
Well, the other thing I was thinking too, Mom, is do you bank with Chase? Do you have any?
Oh, yes.
Well,
Yeah, well, not for years.
that's even worse because Jess and I were talking about it at the pool the other day and thinking, well, maybe she needs to move some of her banking up there because both Jess and I do some banking
no.
with Chase. And so we figure that's why they
No,
love us.
I've banked with them. No, I've banked with them for
Okay,
years.
well, that's annoying.
So I know, I'm very annoyed. But, sometimes you just have to let these things go and move on to something else.
Just like
So
Mitch being in pop-up jail.
Yep. So my next thought is to get the Capital One business card for me because I do love those Capital One venture miles. I will have estimated taxes coming up again. And if I can do it right around Christmas, I could probably do a lot on Buy For Me retail also. So that's kind of what my next thought is. What about you, Jess?
I am pretty intrigued by the new Chase Freedom Unlimited offer. It's kind of a different offer that we haven't seen before, but it's unlimited matching. So in your first year, let me make sure I have this right. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but it's in your first year of card membership, you basically all the bonus earnings that you get from just everyday spend or dining or drugstores at the end of your 12 months, Chase is going to match all that cash back. These cards are marketed as cashback cards, but they actually earn ultimate rewards points. So you effectively get 3x on everything because it's normally 1.5x. And it's normally 3x on dining and 3x at drugstores. But with the matching, you're going to get 6x on dining and 6x at drugstores. And there's no cap. It's just unlimited matching your first year. There's also no welcome offer and there's no minimum spend. But it's just very intriguing to me because one of my biggest spend categories is dining out. And so 6x on dining out would be huge for me and 3x on every purchase. I know it's only for a year, but there are no Chase cards that offer 3x on every purchase. So that one has my interest peaked. I actually had the Freedom Unlimited already, but I have had it for a long time, years. So I canceled it. I'm going to wait 30 days and then I'm hoping this offer will still be around and I think I'm going to go for it and see if it's worth it.
So I got a question for you. When you went and canceled that card, because it is a no annual fee card, first, did you call or do it online, like through the secure message center? And secondly, what did you say? Because sometimes people have asked that question and I'm always say, well, you can say whatever you want. Like they can't make you keep the card. You just say, oh, I just want to close the card. But for people who are wondering, how do you go about closing a card that doesn't have an annual fee? Did they try to talk you out of it? What was that process like?
Okay, so you can cancel cards on secure message with Chase. If you're going to product change, you have to call. But if you just want to flat out cancel it, you can do it on secure message. And I will always do a written request over calling. Like any day I will. So I just simply
All three of us.
Yeah. So I simply just asked them to close it and they responded that they closed it same day. Like they did not give me any sort of pushback. I think I literally just said, hi, I would like to close my Chase Freedom Unlimited card ending in with like the last 4 digits. Thanks, Jessica Field. Like that was the extent. It was one sentence. That was the extent of my message. And so
It doesn't get any easier than that. You don't make up a reason. Field.
Yeah, I didn't make up a reason. They didn't ask me for a reason. They closed it the same day. And so I actually went into my Google Calendar and I set a reminder for 30 days from that day that says apply for Freedom Unlimited. So as soon as I get my little reminder pop up, I'm going to attempt to apply for that offer. What about you? What's on your radar, Alex?
Well, you maybe convinced me to get the Freedom Unlimited. Mitch doesn't have that card yet. I do, but he doesn't. So I'm thinking I might have him do that because it's a Visa, which the Freedom Flex is a MasterCard, but the Freedom Unlimited is a Visa. So we can use that at Costco where we spend a lot of money with these 4 boys of ours. So to get 3x at Costco would be pretty awesome. Also, I usually hang on to the cards that we're meeting minimum spend on and just give Mitch something else to use. And then if he has a big purchase, he usually knows like, hey, which card do you want me to put this on? And I let him know. But I could get him the Freedom Unlimited and just make that his everyday spend card for a year. And then also,
You mean Mitch wouldn't have to ask you what card you
wouldn't have
use?
to ask. Well, you don't have to ask me if it's a big purchase because I want to put that on the minimum spend that we're meeting. And then we could use it for all our dining. So I'm thinking,
Dining out
little
with
trick
the
that
family
I
of
would do.
6.
I will make one of my kids an authorized user on that card and keep that other card with me so I can use that on the dining when we're not together. So then we have 2 of the card.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking
Or
I'm
add
actually going to do that. Otherwise, for myself, a Chase Ink business card. It's been a little bit since I've gotten one. So I actually have one that I'm going to cancel because it's a business I don't really use anymore and I want to be able to get that card again. And a VentureX business is also on my radar because I opened it for Mitch, but not for myself. So as soon as we have some big chunk of spending that needs to be done, I'll probably try to get that for myself. So that's what's on my radar. Thanks for inspiring me.
I want you guys to know this is how much Chase hates me. I applied for that card too and got denied. I applied for it for my husband. He's in review. Haven't heard anything yet. I'm hoping he gets it. But yes, you guys may have pop-up with Amex, but it's way worse to have Chase not like you. Let me just say that. So anyway, anybody have any great hints to get Chase to like you again, send them my way. So everyone, we hope that you enjoyed this peek into what we've been up to lately, including our shenanigans of today, what we have planned coming up, and what is on our radar. If you want to start traveling like this too, make sure to join us for our free masterclass, How to Start Traveling for Nearly Free. You can find a link to register in the show notes.
Thanks so much for listening to the Travel Hacking Mom Show. Make sure to hit the subscribe or follow button from wherever you're listening so you never miss an episode. Want to start jet setting even faster? Follow the links in the show notes to learn about everything we discussed in today's episode. And to stay connected and follow along, follow us on Instagram at Travel Hacking Mom. We can't wait to see where in the world points and miles take you.